Hey guys, Pedro here to tell you about the latest from Blackbriar, A Thousand Little Deaths, out August 22nd on Nuclear Blast. The album has 10 tracks, 43 minutes in length, and this is the band's third full-length studio album. They are a Dutch symphonic metal band. As far as the design goes, this album has, since the beginning, middle, and end, it's definitely their most cohesive, their most mature album to date. It understands what it wants to offer the listener, and it does it in a way that makes the overall record gain quality. The quality individual songs is there, but the way they're presented with the right ebbs and flows, with the right peaks and valleys, definitely makes for a much better overall listening experiences. And in songs and in records that perhaps could be quite demanding at times, considering how much texture the sound has, how many layers there are to it, and the overall size that it offers, creating a fun ride for the listener is definitely important in order to give a sense of shortness to what the overall record is putting forward. This adds playability to the album, and it definitely makes the overall record more memorable. As far as sound is concerned, this album is definitely theatrical and cinematic. I think that's undeniable. The thing that for me becomes a little bit defining is how that experience was created. Now, I can easily say that this is a very orchestral driven record. That is true, but the orchestral pieces of this album do not subjugate all of the other sound elements to it. They do not overshadow them. Rather the opposite. They are integrated within it. So when you look at this album sonically, for as big as the orchestral pieces are, for as driven and impactful as they are, all the elements are added to them in order to make that big picture sound, that cinematic essence come to life. It makes the record bigger, it makes the record more impactful, it gives depth to the sound, doesn't allow the album to be very narrow, it rather expands the footprint of the album, and also allows heaviness to coexist with brightness, which creates internal dynamics that add to that overall cinematic vibe that this record puts forward. The best way that I can describe listening to this record is it doesn't feel like the sound is coming at you. It feels like the sound is surrounding you. The same way you would be if you're watching a movie in surround sound system. Different elements of sound is coming from different speakers, from different places, which creates that surround experience. This album is just like that. You feel like you're in the middle of it, and everything else just fills in all the gaps that you have around yourself. That is one of the ways in which you can create an overall very cinematic, overall very theatrical sounding record with big sound, big impact, and allowing the overall sound to be defining of the record and not just a single element. That is A Thousand Little Deaths in a snapshot. Now, you can talk about other elements within the sound that have an impact. I think the one that perhaps has as big of impact as those orchestral pieces is the drums, because the heaviness, the size of the drums really help bring in a little bit more metal. The guitars as well, but not to the same extent as the drums. Bring in a little bit more heaviness, a little bit more metal to the overall sound, not allowing the album to be overly orchestral. That is also an important aspect of this record, but to me, the overall essence of the sound, the way it's presented, the way it makes you feel as a listener is what puts this album over the top sonically. Now, vocally, Zora is phenomenal. She has the right voice, the right approach to add herself to what this album musically is already offering and becoming the main character in each and every single story that this album puts forward. She is haunting at times. She's beautiful at times. The way she uses her voice without a lot of changes, but with nuances to it, nuances in the sound behind it that accentuate the nuances in her voice, is what allows her to go from beautiful to haunting, sometimes in the exact same track. The perfect vocal performance for what I would consider the best album that this band has ever done. It's firing on all cylinders. It just feels right. It feels like an album, not just a bunch of good songs put together. And that mixed in with this incredible sound quality that the album offers definitely puts it over the top. As far as favorite songs are concerned, I want to start off with Bluebeard's Chamber. This is the opening track. I always look at an album like this at the opening track to see how that song helps set up the record. I thought this song helped tremendously. One of the most engaging songs, I'm trying to find the right word, engaging songs that this album offers. It has a cinematic essence throughout. It has size, it has layers, it has richness, it has this big presence to it. The drums and the orchestral pieces together create this gigantic footprint of a track. Then you have the verses being a little bit more contained, and then you have the chorus just completely explosive. The climax of the track is the chorus, both musically and vocally, with great melodies, with great sound, creating a great song that hides a lot of darkness in it. It hides it in the size, it hides it in the melody, it hides it in the vibe, in the atmosphere that this song creates. Incredibly dark but bright song at the exact same time, and that's what makes it unique, and that's what makes it stand out. Great opening track because of it. Then you have My Lonely Crusade. This track starts off very stripped down, almost like a ballad, piano ballad, very stripped down, feeling almost like a Disney movie. Even when you look at some of the extra added pieces, the extra added flares that this track has, it sounds straight out of a Disney movie into this record. So that's how it starts off, and you kind of get to feel like it's going to be a very stripped down song all along, but it's not. It builds up, the song grows, the chorus is bigger, and once that chorus hits, the song doesn't necessarily drop back down again. It continues to plateau, it continues to grow, continues to add size, making it a climatic song almost constantly. It's reaching new climaxes every single time the chorus hits. It's a very interesting track because of it, because it's very different as it ends, as it starts. But when you look at the growth and development of the track, it feels flawless and seamless. Last but definitely not least, Green Light Across the Bay. One of the more metal tracks on the record. More metal tracks because the guitars are way more defined on this song than on most of the other tracks. Not only they're more defined, they have more heaviness to them, specifically in the verses. The drums also help with that overall sense of heaviness, specifically in the verses. And then it's a track that is very rich, and once it reaches the chorus is not as heavy, definitely more melodic, more open, but what it loses in heaviness, it gains in volume. So it allows itself to be to give the feeling that the track overall is very constant and very linear, when exactly it's not. It's definitely heavier in the verses, bigger sounding in the chorus, but with more layers. Great track because it really brings metal into the picture, and it allows you to feel a little bit of a reset considering the style and approach of songs around it. This is it, Blackbriar with 1,000 Little Deaths. Let me know your thoughts on the band. Hit me up in the comment section. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, guys.